Traitor. What does that mean in modern football? We almost saw something similar to this when the first rumours came out of a certain Cristiano Ronaldo joining Manchester City, and the uproar that would have, of course, created, and for some people led on to believe that the simple link between him going to Man City is what drove United to pull the trigger in the first place. North London derby is here, something that we are all very well aware of the meaning behind Arsenal v Tottenham Hotspur, and for good reason is labelled as one of the best derbies in England. And when it comes to a derby between top 6 clubs, I would say Arsenal v Tottenham probably is a good shout for being the most fierce, for having the most animosity between the fans. That could be your own opinion. You may say City United, Liverpool United. From a personal perspective, I may say that I would rather watch a Tottenham v Chelsea game at times than watch a Tottenham v Arsenal game in terms of just pure chaos of the match. But that's more based on what you see in the pitch than off it, really. Now, I've seen 2 videos in the last 48 hours which sticks with me, and I felt it was worth talking about. That is, of course, talking about Sol Campbell between his move from Tottenham Hotspur to Arsenal, and the idea that this is still, to this day, maybe the biggest traitor move in at least British or English football history. The only real comparison I could really give to you is possibly bigger than this, is of course Luis Figo's move from Barcelona to Real Madrid. They threw a literal pig's head at him. A real life pig's head. Now, I'm sure you may give me some other samples down below in comments of maybe some more fierce or more just, Judas type of moves, but this is definitely up there. Number one, to give some context into this of why this has all come up again, not including the fact it's a North London derby. There was this advertisement that Sol Campbell took part in involving the Google Pixel, and it was all one massive joke about, you guessed it, switching sides.
A time when people start to wonder if the grass might be greener. Whether they should switch sides and change allegiances. Take it from me. Big moves pay off. Sure, people will have opinions, but who cares what people think? Of course you can stay with them for another year, but is anything really going to change? Doesn't look like it to me. So if you're thinking about transferring this January,
we were talking about separating delicate whites from strong colours like red in your wash cycle.
Yeah, that was it.
This advertisement was so on the nose that he basically might as well put up a sign saying "F you Tottenham Hotspur fans." It kept going with the jokes that I was fully expecting him to start taking a piss directly on the Tottenham Hotspur pitch. Or maybe kicking a chicken's head. I don't know. Anything could have happened in this video. Now, this video came up, and of course it is, playing in the nose about his transfer. It's all kind of fun and games, right? Because that happened so long ago, and you know what? Fair enough. I saw something similar, I think it was to do with Paddy Power, when it came to Ryan Giggs' brother, basically taking one big joke about the fact that Ryan Giggs had an affair with his partner at the time, which is something strange to do, but that's his own choice. I'm sure he got paid very well.
I'm just popping out.
Where are you going?
To the shops, Rod. We need milk.
We do need milk.
Here's the issue. Sol Campbell went on AFTV the other day for the preview for the North London derby, a sort of podcast interview with him. In this, he also spoke about the transfer, obviously, and he did this wacky move for some God knows reason. Is it a colour thing? Is there an underbelly colour thing that keeps you going? If it was a black person or an Indian person saying it, are you confused? Or is it a white guy saying it? What's going on? What's hanging on and allowing you to keep going for something that happened 25 years ago when I was a young man? Now, this would be making more sense if he didn't do anything and people still having a go at him. Brother, you did a literal Google Pixel advertisement 24 hours prior to this recording. I'll get into the claim about racism later, that's stupid, but just from just a simple element of just acknowledging facts of the matter. You can't be saying, well, why do you keep going on about this when I did a video taking the absolute piss out of you the other week? Let's take this for example. Let's say at least 5 years ago, right? I punched your mum in the face, okay? I full body, WWE, swanton bombed, okay? And you're angry at me. As you should, I should be angry with myself. Now, let's say that, you know, time went on 5 years later, and then last week, I then went back and I also punched your mum in the face again. Now, if I'm here saying, well, why are you always on about the time I punched your mum in the face? Well, what keeps you going? What keeps you having a go at me after the fact I've already punched your mum in the face again? That's basically what's happened here. And I do respect any mothers, and I hope that they are not hurt by the hearing of this video. And then let's get on to the other thing, right? And it's not even worth talking about because it's so goddamn stupid. And I've done videos about this before when it comes to, like, accusations of this being made online. But making it about colour and race here is hilarious because he made the example of, well, other people did this and they didn't get this much stick. My guy, there was literally an entire Netflix documentary about the transfer between Luis Figo from Barcelona to Real Madrid. Okay? A full-blown documentary about how much he was hated. So no, Sol Campbell, just put a line on the sand here. No, you're not the only person in the history of football to make a transfer to a rival club that still gets stick for it. Again, pig's head thrown at him on the pitch. Now you may say, okay, but is it a colour thing? Ledley King! I'm sorry, yeah, there's not a colour thing here to try to label to Tottenham fans in North London that there's some colour thing behind it. Ledley King! So to highlight this, right, and I kind of want to go into just one little thing here, because maybe people are still a bit confused if you haven't looked into it. Well, why is Sol Campbell hated, right? Ledley King! Basically, Sol Campbell at the time was a very, very, very good centre-half, and at the time was a good shout for being one of the best centre-half, centre-backs in the country, maybe even one of the best in world football at the time period. A Tottenham academy prospect was Sol Campbell, came through the academy, came through and was put into the first team and was remarkable for Tottenham at the time. Now, keep in mind, there was probably a bigger gap between, there was a bigger gap in terms of quality and success between Tottenham and Arsenal at the time period. Arsenal were further ahead, they had better players, and of course had more money. Sol Campbell was basically their talisman at the time, their main player, and of course their biggest valued player. Of course, if they came to sell him, he would bring in a lot of very important money for the club. This is part of the problem, because at least when it comes to Figo to Barcelona, at least they got some transfer money from him. They got a good amount of money. I think they got, like, at the time, would have been valued of at least 60 million, okay, to that time period, right? I think Sol Campbell went for free. And not only went for free, but also made very bold claims publicly about the fact that this is his club. He's not going to leave Spurs on a free. He's definitely not going to leave Spurs for Arsenal. The ending of his Tottenham career ended with a game against Arsenal, with Ray Parlour at the time having a foul on Sol Campbell that basically ended his Tottenham career, which he went off injured. Ledley King replaced him, which was actually quite ironic at the time. And of course, Sol Campbell's career at Tottenham ended, and this basically ended Tottenham's season with Sol Campbell's injury. Perez scored a winner in the second half, and Arsenal won that game. Talk about him signing a new contract was always rumoured, but never came to fruition. He was injured at the time period, so he wasn't playing. After him publicly saying he would not leave, especially not on a free, to Arsenal, he ended up at White Hart Lane in an Arsenal shirt. At the time, 4,000 balloons bearing the word Judas, multiple signs in the stands by many Spurs fans with the words Judas. Banners with Bible verses, one labelled, "When Judas took the bread, Satan entered him." And of course, there's the famous interview post-match of an interviewer saying, "What about your situation? Will you be staying at Tottenham?" With Sol Campbell with a famous chin scratch looking up to the heavens saying, "I'm staying."
What about your situation, Sol? Will you be staying at Tottenham?
I'm staying.
Keep in mind, this was after winning the 1999 League Cup final. So the club's on a high right now. Moving forward, even though they are, at the time, mid-table, they still were making some bright improvements. Lo and behold, he made the move over to Arsenal, and what made it even worse was, of course, the inevitable success that came with that. For many people, they would believe that he made the right decision. Arsenal fans, of course, saying that, well, Arsenal are a bigger club, a better club, and therefore he was able to give him what he wanted. Because if he stayed at Spurs, then he may not get the success that he potentially deserved. I guess you may say something similar to the likes of, let's say, a Harry Kane at a time that has stayed there for all the time and is no longer widely respected or seen as a great player as he should because of the lack of silverware. And maybe Harry Kane and Sol Campbell are kind of on two ends of the spectrum with that. And what makes this situation, I presume if you're an Arsenal fan, hilarious, is that Sol Campbell keeps on saying the most stupid things very often, all the time, and he can't stop doing it.
2 years ago, let me read you a quote of something he said 2 years ago, right? He said, I was a young boy when I signed for Arsenal. I didn't have a family. It's a different story if I have kids. I might have thought differently. I don't know. Maybe. I was 30 or 35. If I was 30 or 35, I would have thought differently. But I was 26. That's not me now. Who stays the same every year or every 5 years, let alone 22 years? I'm not 48 making that decision. For me, it's a plea. I want a clean slate. Look into your hearts, look into your souls, and give me a clean slate. Take out the caricature and see me as a human being. And then he goes and does this 2 years later. Like, you cannot.
So to end off with this, Sol Campbell potentially made the correct decision in terms of making the move for a better chance of silverware. The manner of it is one different story. And to end up with this in terms of his character, using the race car despite just a couple of days before, making a advertisement with Google Pixel, feeling the flames, and then annoyed that the flames are burning you. And lo and behold, Campbell's got a history of lying to people. He lied to Spurs when he said he was staying. He lied to Arsenal when he said he wanted to play abroad. He sued Portsmouth when they were already in severe financial difficulties at his time there. Campbell signed a 5-year deal with Notts County and left after one game and got paid for it, by the way. Campbell wanted to see Macclesfield wound up because they owed him money that he didn't even need. To make it clear, Sol Campbell having effigies made about him at the time is not something that I can condone. However, Sol Campbell at the very same time should probably look in the mirror a bit more before claiming colour is part of the reason, despite the fact that, again, he's talking about Tottenham Hotspur fans in North London. Anyway, enjoy your day. I'll see you next time.